Hey, folks, Sister Honey and Brother Jimmie here. Honey C. Golden and Jimmie Schwinn. We love you very much. Say hi to everybody,
Hi,
sister.
everybody. Hope you're doing awesome. It's wild.
It is wild and it's so exciting. This is episode 5 already of Step in Your
Mhm.
Power. And today we titled it The Fire That Forms You. And we're diving into how pressure, pain, and spiritual intensity are not signs you're failing, they're invitations to rise. Wow, does that fit right now in a big way?
Mhm.
We're going to be talking about why pressure isn't punishment, how spiritual fire forges soul leadership, what to do when the heat feels too much for you, how to ground and rise through it. And we're also going to be showing you some 100% free tools at the end that you can plug in immediately while you're watching this. You should do it afterwards, but after you watch this episode, you can plug in, get your family plugged in. Miracles are happening in there. It's just amazing. We're going to get into that detail. But before we begin, I want to thank our sponsor for this episode, Bodyline Energy Wellness. They are leaders in energy frequency based tools for energetic balance and vibrational alignment. Two-thirds of the world population uses what they call energy medicine. We like to call it energy wellness. And Bodyline is a leader in that. Millions of these tools shipped around the world, and they are the sponsors of this episode and in total alignment with us. So now over to you, Sister Helen.
Okay. So I want to talk about how basically what's happening is we come in and we ask for these lessons to happen. And that's the fire. So the fire is basically so that you're strong enough to deal with your soul purpose. And a lot of people learn this when they're doing business. And especially if you're an entrepreneur and you go into business and it fails, and this one fails, and that one fails. And then finally, you figure out how to actually make it work. And that's what we're doing right now. And to ask you not to judge yourself harshly as things don't work out with either a relationship or a business or some kind of thing that you're doing in your life. It's for the lesson. What are you getting out of it? That's what's important.
Yes, it is, sister. It's interesting. Um, I have never felt the amount of energy that's hitting this planet right now. But I know that fire, Christ said, you're born of the water the first time, and then you're born of the fire the second time. And
Mhm.
just like gold gets purified in extreme heat, silver gets purified in extreme heat to burn out the impurities of those metals. The soul goes through the fire to burn out the impurities of the soul. And
Yeah.
so it's interesting to watch that going on. And as we were looking at this episode, to talk about that, because I can see it all around me that this is happening on overdrive for people. Some people have never been put under the fire like they now are. It's being done to them. So, you know, how how do you say, what's your opinion about how they handle this as they're going through all of this?
It just really depends on the person, how they're handling it. Some don't really realize what's going on,
Yeah.
and some do. And it's kind of like being squeezed. So if you were the pin inside of my fist and you were being squeezed, like all the stuff that you don't need anymore is coming up to the top and
Yeah.
being pushed out. And we are going to be like the phoenix. I mean, that's the energy that's coming in. That's the energy for the world. That's the energy for the soul group of humanity. And that's the energy of Earth right now is like basically collapse or burn down the old
Right.
and create the new from those ashes, basically. So that's cleansing. And
Yeah.
just like when you have a fever, That is cleansing your body.
Cleansing your body. I want to show the image. I didn't show this at the beginning, but I think that this image speaks volumes of what folks are feeling right now. As we can see that phoenix arising and another one growing out of the flames and another one coming out as a spark. I feel that that image definitely represents what is going on currently. Because again, within, the Step Into Your Power community, we have people in all different stages of their journey. Like we have, the 4 stages laid out, where you've got the waking up stage, and then, realigning, and all the way through, expansion, expanding and overflow. And people are in all different stages, and sometimes they're in between stages. And like you said, sometimes they're not even awake yet. So they have no idea what's coming. And I had put a video out earlier this week, and you do your videos in the community, your videos period everywhere are great. And then what those little nuggets you throw at everybody in the community are just so wonderful. I mean, people should just join Step Into Your Power for that alone. But I see that I put out a video about, weeding the garden of life. And I think that because the fire is so intense, that we really got to start looking at every aspect of our lives. What are we looking at? What are we absorbing, and start cleaning it out? Because we already got enough fire upon us just from all of this stuff going on. This adds intensity to it even more, all of this negative stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the subconscious mind can't differentiate between truth and non-truth. So you consciously have to say that to yourself, like before you're watching a movie or before you're taking in a conversation. So you either want to cancel it when somebody's saying something negative and you do not agree with it, say the words cancel, or when you're watching a movie, have an intention before you watch it that I realize that this is not real, and you're talking to your subconscious. This is so that I can find out disclosure, and this is not reality. So those things are important for your subconscious mind, and that would be weeding the garden. And then also asking yourself, do I need that anymore? Do I need to do that kind of relationship anymore? All those kind of things like that are popping up. Do I need to pay attention to that person anymore? I noticed today I met someone in town, and the crowds always showed up when I was with someone, but when I was by myself, there were no crowds. So that means I'm not interested in a crowd, and they're not going to be around while I'm there.
Right.
But if someone else is expecting a crowd, then they will receive that crowd.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. Yeah.
Yep. You're 100% responsible for your reality, every single thing in it. And that is such a great thing. Even though some people say, well, my reality is terrible. Well, guess what? You can change it because you control it. And if you control it, you can change it. And it's now, again, we've been talking about this on the last few episodes too, about, I think all of them, about the manifestation increasing tremendously, whether it's good or bad that you're thinking, the manifestation. And what I like that you always say, you got to speak to your subconscious. Just like you got to do, like I'll do blessings for my energy centers. And then I'll do breathing to clear the first 3, because that's where all the energy gets stuck in a lot of people. And they got all kinds of problems going on. What they call, the root chakra, and then the sacral chakra, and then the solar plex chakra. I just, these are the first 3 energy centers that are straight up, from where, male, female, your pelvis is, all the way up to the top. And a lot of energy gets stuck in those first 3, and that causes all kinds of problems for people. One of the things I'll be doing on our energy, body energy reset this month, that we give our live for our members, is teaching them how to clear that. and how to get rid
good.
of that, because it gets stuck and people have all kinds of problems. But I wanted to ask you this. So the soul often chooses high pressure seasons, right, to unlock power.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely have. I've chosen all kinds of high pressure things and being near death many, many times over. And then also getting to the point where I had stopped breathing and then crossing into the light and then asking questions while I was there and then deciding, oh, I guess I have to go back, you know? So I went back, but I was 7 at that point. But just a lot of fire stuff. And I had pneumonia recently and it went on for like 6 weeks. So it went and then came back. And that was a huge part of releasing one of the fires that I had kind of had lifetime after lifetime. So holding on to sorrow. So that's what will settle in the lungs, is holding on to sorrow. And people who have that will have asthma or pneumonia or bronchitis a lot, those kind of things that have to do with the lungs.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Like every morning, I did over 40 minutes of meditation today,
Mhm.
between the breathing and the all bring all the energy, because there's more than 8, the one above your head. There's energy portals through in different places of the body.
Oh, yeah.
We're an energy being,
Mhm.
And so I spent about 40 minutes doing that. But I, even during my prayer meditation, I had the candle, a 3-wick candle burning. Now, of course, it's organic. It's not going to harm me. I bless everything anyways. And I would recommend everybody do that. Bless everything you use. Everything you use, bless it and make it perfect for your body, in perfect frequency, and for you and your body, and for you physically and spiritually, energetically, all of it. But the fire, we used to have fireplaces in the houses. Then they started getting rid of those fireplaces, even like they built the square. So the square were in cubes. The
Yeah.
cars are cubes, the houses are cubes. If you know about energy, you would build things round so the energy could flow. So everything's getting stuck. And the fireplaces they started removing because they don't want people in the fire, by the fire, because it's actually really good for you. And people need to be in by the fire. They should burn a candle, a good one, around them and spend some time in front of it, or get in front of a fireplace. I mean, why did the Indians chant and dance around the fire? Cindy and I bought some land a couple years ago up in Comanche County, Texas, 10 acres. And when I got on the land, I was lit up. Like I was like lit up on fire. I come to find out that the Indians were on that land, and their
Mhm.
fire pit was right in there was like a few 10 acres of land, and the fire pit was right in the middle. And
Mhm.
that lit the property up even when they were gone, lit the property up. So can you talk to folks about the importance of physical fire, like, getting yourself around a campfire and in front of fire, and why that's important?
It is important because it's part of our elemental nature. So in Taoism, which is something that my father studied a lot. Sorry, my voice has gone wacky. So basically fire and then earth and then water and then it goes fire, earth, metal, water, wood. And I'm a wood, and you can actually tell who people are by their energetics, but people have different aspects of their energy. And wood is like life, it's the culmination of all the elements coming together. But my dad was a fire, and he was very soft. And you're nourishing yourself by seeing the fire. It's kind of a portal too. You can see shapes in the fire. So that's really cool. And it's part of us. We are made of elements, and we are made of light. And that's why during this process, we've needed so many minerals.
Yes.
But one of the things that you can purify your body with as you're cleansing is charcoal. So fire is needed. it's good for us.
It is needed, and I feel very, very good around it, and it really helps me. And it also burns off what they call the death urge. It helps burn off that death urge. Those traumas that people have when they're born too. Even with the way the umbilical cord gets cut. I mean, they're not supposed to be doing that, and they traumatize babies like right from birth.
Yeah.
And then they put you into a square house, a square crib, a square car, a square everything. Then they don't want you in front of the fireplace. They don't want you in front of these elements. I'm also in Asia. I'm a wood snake, right? A wood
Yeah.
snake, and my element's the wood. Cindy's actually a wood dragon.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, yeah, it was interesting because my 60th year just passed. And that there's two most important years of your life is when you're born and your 60th year, and how everything's aligning up, because you can go one of two ways. You can either go this way or you can go this way, right? You can either go down or up. So it's interesting how I really feel that no one's ever felt this type of fire upon them like it's going on now. Even myself and yourself and other people that I know that are very, very on the spiritual path in a big way, and they are, whew, it's taken a whooping on them.
Well, if you think about the Schwinn and the light that's coming in, I mean, that's a form of fire too. And what that's doing is knocking out old programs from the subconscious mind. And whenever I would look for those, I would see them in the spine, and they would be like little gold sticks, little tiny sticks of information in the spine. And I was constantly getting rid of programs for people when I was doing individual sessions, and they would hide in the tailbone. And I think that was part of, a construct that was created when they messed with the DNA of humanity.
Yeah, people, they have a hard time wrapping their head around, these programs being implanted and all that. But I just go back to, what Christ said when he was here on this planet, right? On this planet, in that incarnation of that purpose in time. And he told people that, you will do these things that you're seeing me doing way more than I do. And then people forget, wow. I mean, hands were growing back. Leopard skin was being cleansed. I mean, people with shriveled up hands destroyed were being rebuilt. I mean, a lot of stuff was happening, documented stuff that's provable that was happening. So, when I was talking to my wife about, when you're going through challenges with health or whatever, you got to call in healing and not keep reinforcing the problem. I see a lot of people that are probably not waking up yet that are in the community, that they're always laying out their problem. I mean, they just lay it out and listen, we pray for them. And then you see some of them advancing, forward, and that you start seeing less, but then you see some of them disappear and then they come back 3 weeks later. So I know, it's kind of like a barometer. I love that community because it's helping me so much and so many others. But it's kind of a barometer to see this internal community and what's going on in there, and then think about, wow, the whole world and how that's, expanding into every place and everywhere, and not focusing on that crumbling even in your own existence, in your own life, whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship, just focusing on that new stuff and just dealing with it. I mean, I've had to breathe through this. It's been, even this last weekend, I don't know what the deal is with the divine, but it seems like we want to get hit on the weekends. I wish we just hit us during the week and, give us the weekends off. But it was intense this weekend again. And even today, it's been one heck of a day.
Yeah, it's been a wild day. And it's like so communication doesn't really work that well today, I've noticed. with certain people. Maybe they're not resonating with you. Maybe you can't get on the same wavelength with them. And it's hard to have a conversation. I noticed that. But it is the weekends. It seems like it starts Thursday night. So every Thursday night, things start to get wavy. And then we go all the way into Monday. And then it kind of culminates in the outside world Tuesday through Friday. That's what I've noticed. Like Tuesday through Friday, maybe Tuesday, sometimes through the Friday morning, we're seeing all these crazy things happen outside. And we have to remember we are driving that with our energy. We're saying, yeah, we're done with this stuff. So get it over with.
Yeah.
Get it done. And that's really good. But it is topsy-turvy. And we are really feeling the pinch of it right now. And I know yesterday I was working all day, but I was very kind of worn out.
Yeah, tired. By the way, I took my green screen and put it up, so I'm just still getting a stripe of light on the top of my head, folks. So it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, it's very tired. Cindy slept most all yesterday. And
Yeah.
I get into a point where, we woke up though, it was 4:15 this morning. But I get to a point where I just have to relax. And sometimes my alarm will go off and I'll sleep another hour and a half if I need to, if it tells me I need to. You got to take good care of yourself right now. It's really intense. It's like the situation you were talking about with your pneumonia. What was going on. It was actually, you were going through something that was getting out of your
Cleansing.
life.
Yeah.
Right? You were cleansing out of your life. So that's really exciting. I've been through that quite a few times throughout life where I went through something that I thought, oh my gosh, why am I going through this? And then at the end of the day, I look back at it and I'm like, man, that was a pivotal point to teach me something or get what wasn't serving me out of my life. And, as you grow younger, you learn how, and some people don't, because some people are still living in the past and they're living in the future and they're not living in the now. And you got to keep steering yourself into the now. As long as you're in this physical body, your mind is going to continue to take you in the back and in the forward. You just got to steer it back into it. Once you're out of this physical body, you don't have that problem. But as long as you're in this existence right now in this physical body, you're going to always you just have to redirect and let it go and be good with it. Like, okay, no problem. I just had something happen that you know about. I'm not going to talk about it publicly, but it was something that would have really set me off. 10 years ago, boy, I would have been all up in arms. But if it isn't meant to be, and it's not good for your higher purpose, give thanks and gratitude for it. Send it love and light, and just let it move out because something else is bigger waiting for you. And I would look at that stuff where, oh, this thing happened, say at some, where I went to over to California. They moved me from Texas to California. Then the guy that moved me there, he resigned 4 months later. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And then I came back here and was in a bigger and better thing. But it's, you have to have faith and just breathe through it, meditate through it, work through it, because at the other end of it is something much better.
Yeah.
Than what you're going through.
Completely. And the universe is going to do it in the best way for you. And that doesn't mean it's not going to feel bad in the middle of it. So we've had things like betrayal and anger and triggering and, all of this stuff. And we've had people falling away from us that can't really work with us anymore. Or they can't really communicate with us anymore.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of friends that I don't really talk to anymore. They're, some of them were falling out. Some of them were they just kind of faded away. And we're going through major changes right now because we are getting to the point where our highest timeline is. And not everybody wants to be in the same place. And accepting that is important as well. And that's part of the fire, you know? Yeah.
It forges you
Yeah.
into the person that you're here to be. So you have to go. It's like when they do the gold and silver, and they light it up, and they burn all the impurities out of it. Like I was talking about before, they gotta put the heat on it. They gotta put the fire on it to get the purity. And it's the same thing with the soul. You got to run it through this fire in order to get that purity of what you're meant for. You're forging yourself. And it's not, you know what I would say to people is it's not being done to you, it's being done for you. And if you look at that way, it's going to be better for you. Because if you're always thinking, oh, I'm a victim, this is done to me, woe is me, well, then you're going to get a lot more stuff than maybe you don't need because you're in that mindset. I mean, the power of words, I don't think people understand the power of their words.
Yeah.
And especially now, I mean, it's so important that they're so careful what they're saying.
It really is. A good example of that is, let's say somebody doesn't feel well. So they go to the doctor and the doctor says, you have this. And then you go home and you say, I have this. And it's going to cause this, this, and this. And instead of saying, I'm healing from this, you're saying, I have it. So basically, every time you talk about it, you're programming your subconscious and your body to keep whatever it is. So your body wants to go back to a point of homeostasis, to health, to balance. But if you're telling your body all the time that you have something, then you're basically making yourself stuck with it. And I think that's really important. And that applies to everything. It doesn't matter if, you have, maybe you feel you don't have something and you're always talking about how you don't have it and you want it. And you're actually creating more of what you don't have. So there's a lot of things, with words.
Yeah, it's interesting because this journal, because of the downloads I've been getting, I'm keeping track of them. And with business, I'm always doing column exercises. But I wrote down my intention. I am loving what I am doing. I'm traveling the world with Cindy. I'm working from anywhere in the world. I'm my own boss, leading my team. I'm in perfect health. I'm generating generational wealth. I am bringing tens of millions of people to the Heavenly Father in Christ. I am making multiple seven figures a year in personal income. I am fulfilling my divine destiny. Because you got to, some people say, well, Brother Jimmie, and then how does that make me feel? Well, empowered, in love with life, grateful, joyful, blessed, love, free, unlimited, sovereign. And I think about that, and I put a J there. So when I think about the J, I think about that. Okay?
Yeah.
Because what am I doing? I'm programming my subconscious mind. Now, some of those things are already true. But I am, then great things. Not I am not. I mean, just I am in gratitude. And you wouldn't believe how things changed for people. It's just, and I think what I see is all of this stuff is burning off because everybody that's watching this, there's so much more for you, for Sister Honey, for myself, for all of us. We get to be involved in the new, to give our children and grandchildren a better place when it's our time's up here, whether we vibrate out of this or whatever goes on, whichever way it happens. We should leave this planet in a better shape, in better condition, in a better place for the younger generation. And part of going through this fire, it is. And I'm going to ask you this question, Sister Honey. What to do when the heat feels too much? What can you tell the people to do? Because there's some people, I'm going through the same thing, like you just said, where people that were just not communicating anymore, they're falling away, and I'm just letting it happen, and I'm very grateful that it's happening. But what do you do when the heat feels too much?
Get into nature, get grounded, get into the water. And I wish saltwater pools were a big thing here in the US. They're not. But if you're in a foreign country and you have a saltwater pool, if you're stressed or if you have the ocean available, go get into the ocean, go get into the saltwater pool. And really think about, what can I do to actually get my feet into the dirt, or go and hug a tree. Those kind of things are really important. And if you can't do any of that, take your shoes off and imagine that energetically you are growing roots into the dirt. And that will help you ground your body. It's really important to disengage the nervous system, or to at least calm it down, because it creates fight or flight, and then your brain stops working. You only have one portion of your brain that's working in that moment, and you really can't think straight when you're in fight or flight. And the nervous system is upgrading right now, so it's definitely been a little bit wild right now. And it's been wild for probably, I would say, a month, the nervous system. But we're not quite through that yet. And it's also affecting digestion and stuff. So anytime that you can be outside is going to be beneficial to you.
It's interesting because I see my wife with the digestion, with her, I don't want to give any power to any of that, but I see that going on. But then there's other people that are talking about it. And it's just, again, those three chakras, those three energy centers are jammed up. And like you said, we're getting an upgrade. And people go, well, what do you mean we're getting an upgrade? Well, just go look at the Schumann resonance and go look at the historical numbers and look at what's going on. And it's never happened like this. We've never seen this before. And even in mainstream media, they're talking about the sun smashing the earth with all this protons and all of this energy. So we're getting upgraded whether we like it or not, and Mother Earth is getting upgraded whether you like it or not. And we got to go with Mother Earth because this is where we live. But I also find breathing, Sister Ronnie, I find breathing, and what's so great about inside of the community is we have all of the tools in there to help you with all that breathing, meditation, healing frequency music. And I caution people to be careful where you pull your healing frequency music from, because there's a lot of sites out there on YouTube that are not what they say they are, and they're working for the dark side, and they're hitting you with frequencies that are not good for you. And the ones that we have were done by a master musician and a master in Tai Chi Gong. And I have all the licensing rights. I own the licensing to all of these. And I have people telling me they're crying. They never felt like anything like that with healing frequency music. So one of the things that I've loved we've been doing is we're giving people, hey, if you're feeling this way, use these tools. If you're in this seeker stage, use these tools. I just did a post that I'm going to show before we end today, that broke down all the numbers that you're seeing, because I'm seeing numbers like no tomorrow. And I broke down all the numbers and what do they mean. Like if you see 333 or 222 or 1111 or any of them. And then not only that, but the affirmation that goes with it. And then the practice portals tools to use if you're seeing it, to get it even in Greater India even more. So that's what people need to do. They need to do, like, pay attention to what's going on in your reality, and make sure that you're connecting to the divine as much as possible. You're spending the time building the relationship, and you're aware of what's being told to you. And I have never had so many downloads and so many numbers coming to me in my life.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've had numbers pop up for years, but right now it's like you're not just getting 3 numbers in a row. Sometimes you're getting like 5 of the same number in a row.
Yes.
Like it's expanding. Everything's expanding. And there's my number that shows up all the time is 911. And I think that is Yeshua's birthday. And I see that all the time. And I'm like, okay, we're on the right track We're doing good. And I feel like we really are doing good. And I know we get kind of discouraged sometimes because our body might feel out of whack or, whatever is going on, but we really are doing well. And if you're wondering about that, look at yourself 5 years ago and look at yourself right now. And most of us have really come a long way in
Yes.
those 5 years.
Yes.
Mhm.
Lots more people have waken up and they're
Mhm.
moving through the process. I want to see as many people go to the end of this as possible, get to the end of it as possible. Unfortunately, we are losing a lot of people. Some people are
We
just
are.
deciding they do not want to stay, they want to go. And unfortunately, if they haven't learned unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness, and they're engaging in hate or any kind of nastiness, they're going to they're going to recycle again. Everybody is again on their own ascension journey. You might have to be recycled a few more times. I don't know. I don't know what happens when people decide that they're leaving. Like they're not staying here. What do you feel? Not that
I think
100%, but what do you feel?
Yeah, I think that they knew they probably weren't going to go through the whole ascension process. One thing that we have to remember is we made it into the fifth density and into the fifth dimension. We're still carrying around a lot of the programming from the 3D, and that's what's being pushed out. And if someone isn't willing to let go of the programming, then a lot of them are passing away right now.
Yes.
And they're rooting for us from the other side. They did amazing to get here into the fifth density and into the fifth dimension. It's like a tremendous thing that they've done already. And they'll probably come back in as children, at least the human part of them will. They'll come back in as children because humanity is going to live on Earth for a while. And one thing we have to remember is the human body is morphing back to its original blueprint, and it's not easy. So if you're in a human body and you're in the process of shifting organs, shifting nervous system, your systems are shifting. It's a big deal right
Yeah.
now. And to be kind to yourself during the process. But a lot of people are leaving. That doesn't mean that they didn't ascend. They ascended without their body.
Right. And then what
Yeah.
you just said makes so much sense that they come back as a child and it'll be an easier transition on them this time around because of the
Mhm.
change that's happening. I look at that beautiful grandson of mine, Noah, and I got to tell you the energy I feel off that beautiful young man. I'm going to miss him again because I'm headed back to the beautiful Las Terrenas to my ocean. I
Yes.
was looking at it, but the energy is so pure, it's so beautiful, the just excitement of life every
Mhm.
moment, so excited for life. I think that's why Christ said, don't stop these little children because the heaven is filled with these children. This is
Mhm.
what it looks like. You have to have that childlike love and energy. They're just so pure and so beautiful. And us folks that have been around a little while in this incarnation, some of us have baggage that we got to deal with. And
Mhm.
as that starts to come up to the top, the crumbling, I like to call it, some people just don't know how to deal with it. And what I'm learning, I'm going through it just like everybody else, being someone that's been a workaholic most of my life. Okay. I'm working, I'm doing more balance. I'm doing, making sure that, okay, yes, I'm going to dedicate my time to doing this, but I'm also going to live my life and be in nature and go spend time with my wife and my grandchildren and make sure that I have a balanced life. How important is that right now to have a
Oh,
balanced life and spend time on you and yourself?
it's so important right now because what you're doing is honoring yourself. We have to remember that we weren't actually meant to come here and have to work for survival. That was a construct that was created to keep us basically occupied so they wouldn't realize that we were the creators of this reality.
Right.
That's so important that we start to let go of that. And we're not going to need to work for survival anymore. And that's why you see the crumble happening in the outside world, is so that that can be shifted into, because you can create whatever you want.
Yeah.
And we really haven't totally clued into that yet. Like, it's a process, but we're creating all the time and don't know it. And that's what the not so nice 3D version was counting on, but we're not in the 3D anymore. And now we're creating like that. Like, it's so fast. Sometimes you're not creating the best stuff for yourself either.
Yeah, that is so true. And if they can create fiat currency out of nothing, and it's all monopoly money anyways, we surely can set the system up to benefit all people instead of a few people. When I say a few, not even 1% that own most of the wealth. As that starts to transition into something with integrity and honesty and transparency, people get too caught up in worrying about it, because it's really going to be very simple. As this frequency continues to increase, all of this stuff that's not able to work within it is crumbling. Yeah. So what are they worried about? That a fake dollar will crumble or this will crumble? So what? We can create, anything that we want to make this thing a better place for everybody. When I'm down in Dominican Republic, we've got a Haitian family that lives, in one of those containers. They got containers and they convert them into like a little place. And I'm thinking about myself, as bad as I feel they have it better than a lot of other people in this world.
Yeah.
And I am so happy that this frequency is increasing and Mother Earth is ascending and the divine is hammering us with energy, that all this stuff has to come to the surface. It has to be dealt with. It has to be handled. And then another thing is that most people don't know is Pluto's in Aquarius. And all you have to go back through is go to ChatGPT or go to Gawk or whatever it is that Elon Musk has, Gort 4, Grok, I think it's called Grok.
I don't know.
Or go to Claude or go to any of them and ask it this simple question. What has happened? And it's going to be in there for like 20 some years. But what has happened every time that Pluto has went through Aquarius? Major changes. I mean, life changes.
Yeah.
Politics, governments falling, religions rising. I mean, just go back 2,000 years and it will blow your mind. And we are now, I think, into the second year of that. I think it went full in 2024, and boy, has it been accelerating. It really has been accelerating.
Yeah, as soon as we got into the fifth dimension, it's like all the stuff had to be forced out, and all the stuff that is not in our highest good. And we're seeing it within ourselves, but also in the outside world. And the outside world is a total movie at this point. We have to remember we're in a learning game. So really, you don't want to get too wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
And also you want to know what's true, what's not true. Like, it just doesn't matter at this point, in my opinion. So really pay attention to yourself, to your own life, to what you're clearing. And that helps the outside world level up. Because basically humanity is creating the outside world, and we are saying no to all of those systems. And when things get really chaotic and you're like, well, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy now? I don't even know. If you get into that position, realize that it doesn't matter. Because what they're doing is creating a scenario so that everybody wants to see the disclosure. And we're kind of in that place right now. I think this week could be quite wild. And we went through the wildness already over the weekend. So
Yep.
then the world goes through the wildness as soon as we're done with all the big energetic push. But it's amazing right now, really. I'm excited.
Yeah, it is super exciting. And again, everybody needs to weed the garden of their life and get rid of all of that stuff. We don't care that, the FBI director is fighting with the attorney general, and this one's doing this, and these files ain't coming out, and this is not that. Tune all of that stuff out. My son always comes to me with it, and I'm like, I don't care, Michael. I don't care. There's nothing that can happen in the government that's going to change my life in any way, shape, or
Mhm.
form, because I'm creating my own reality. I'm getting back on a plane and I'm going back down for another 2.5 months down to my house in Dominican Republic, in one of the most beautiful towns in Dominican Republic, Las Terrenas, which the sign over the town says City of God. So, the energy's off the chain. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm
Yeah.
excited about. I'm not excited about or looking or thinking about any of this crumbling going on. I don't want to give it a piece of my energy. And I would
No.
tell folks not to give it a piece of their energy. Get off of it. We've talked about this before, about, the people that are out there, and we love these patriots, right? And we're building a bridge with one of the things that we've got working in the Patriot Network for people to come over into the spiritual side of the equation, because my download was spiritual patriots from the beginning, in
Mhm.
spiritual first, not patriot spiritual, but spiritual patriots. That's that what the divine is building, spiritual patriots. And I think a lot of patriots, as this stuff is all coming to the surface and being exposed, and now they're infighting and all that's going on for more exposure, they're not going to have anything to talk about soon, as all this stuff's coming to the table. And people are going to be like, when all of these information starts coming about, all of this stuff going on in all of the pillars of society, people are going to need a place to go to where they can congregate and get what they really truly need. And
Right.
that's what we're truly offering, into Step Into Your Power. And I want to talk a little bit about that, Sister Honey, as we're here in the 47 minutes into this episode. This is something that you and I and Brother Brad and my son Tommy came together to work together, because I, back in March, got the download in prayer and meditation that I was not supposed to abandon Step Into Your Power because of the old relationship that I had with the Lama when he went rogue. I was supposed to actually build it, meaning I didn't start it. I did a couple interviews, but now it was really, the download was, you got to build this into a spiritual community for me. You got to do, this is the plan. Boom, downloads happening like it's just unbelievable. Then I'm looking,
Yeah.
and by the way, folks, stepintoyourpower.com. Go there. It's free account. You will not believe the tools you get access to, and we'll show you before we close today the tools back there, the prayer circle where you can get prayer, lots of beautiful things happening, just amazing things. But then how I met you
Mhm.
through Brother Brad coming into one of our Patriot things, Sovereign Radio, and then me having this download and having a conversation, and then he goes, "Oh, I have the perfect person." And sister,
Yeah.
you said, "Honey, see golden, honey golden." I said, "Honey, I can't call her that. My wife will get really upset. I got to put sister in front of that. You know what I mean? Because if I start calling women honey, the wife don't like that. She gets very jealous." But and by the way, brothers and sisters out there, I know a lot of people, put that with religion. It's not, and it's not
Mhm.
cultism. It's the highest compliment in spirituality that you can have, because we're all born from that womb of the divine. We
Yeah.
all are that. And actually, Sister Honey and myself, we're spiritual family. We're soul
Yeah.
family. And we're all soul family. But we have soul groups and that have been working together for a long time. But
Mhm.
how you were brought right into my life and how I was brought into yours. And
Mhm.
instantly we felt like, okay, wow, we both knew that what we're doing for the divine is to help more people move through ascension and get to
Mhm.
that other side without having to leave. if that be their journey, if that be their journey. I mean, some people, like you said, they just can't handle it and they got to leave and they'll come back as a baby again. And it'll be a much better situation because a lot of that crumbling will have happened. I think the crumbling, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, the crumbling. I feel that this isn't going to be like, it's going to go on for a while. I mean, there's a lot of crumbling to happen. I don't set dates because it takes as long as it takes.
No.
And the more people that are putting their energy into the positivity, the faster it's going to happen. But what's your thoughts on that?
We will have some things that are still crumbling as we are building the new. I think that the crumbling coming up will definitely shrink what we call the government. And honestly, politics was a catalyst for ascension. So we need to remember that all kinds of things were catalysts for ascension. And we could call Hollywood that, we could call politics that. And a lot of it was really gross, and we had to learn some really gross things. But the crumbling will probably go on for a while, but we will also be building the new as some of the things crumble away. So it depends on your timeline. And the timelines are already getting ready to split again because they were all together like in a fiber optic cable, basically, when we came through the womb into the fifth dimension. And that was really tough. So I don't remember how long ago that was. I would say maybe a month. But, and I don't keep track of time like a normal person would probably. But really intense moments will continue, especially in the timelines that are taking ascension slower. So they won't necessarily adopt the things that we adopt as quickly. And it will appear to them that it's harder because they haven't let go as much of their 3D programming as others have. But it doesn't matter. They're still in the ascension process. They may just take longer. And that's fine because we've made it into the 5D already. So how fast you go is up to you. But the higher timelines are going to be a lot more fun, I will say. And I can see things like anti-gravity cars coming out. They're showing those in the, whatever you call those tech, like I can't remember the name of them, conventions, the tech conventions. Yeah. There's a lot of things happening. They're talking about building trains that go to Europe. Guess what? They're already there. There's so many things that are happening that are going to be really good for us if we are willing to let go of the past.
Right. That's the biggest problem for people and society. Let go of the past. It doesn't serve you in anything. You should learn from it, but don't hold on to it. And all of those technologies that you're talking about have been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And, and they just haven't given it to humanity. But it's beautiful to see that the engine's running on water and all of that happening and high, just fusion and all the stuff that's happening. It's really exciting to be alive. I mean, everybody should really be super grateful that they're here at this time and they're here for a purpose. If you're not checking out and you haven't given up and you want to get to the other side, well, we're going to help you do that. We're doing these episodes to help, but also when you come into the Step Into Your Power portal, all you got to do is, again, go to stepintoyourpower.com. And, the ascension has begun. It's been going on, but it is accelerating. Go in there and tune in to what Sister Honey's posting every day, what I'm posting every day. Look at what we're doing. Spend time, put a column exercise together, write down on the middle of the paper and put down, spirituality, connection to the divine, the most important thing that you should do, the most important column exercise you should do, and then put down what's serving me and what's not serving me. and go through it and be honest with yourself. What is not serving you, and get rid of it and add what's serving you, because every day I'm looking at that. What's not serving me? What can I shed? What am I need to get out? And every time my mind goes into the past or goes into something in the future, which mostly my mind goes like into something that I need to do. So I got to bring it back, and then it'll go back, and I got to bring it back and say here. And you can't bring it back with anger. You got to bring it back with love and patience, and understand that we're a soul that you're in a physical body, and you're having to deal with that. And you just got to bring it back in love and deal with it. But it's nice to see all of this stuff coming together that we're working on. It's not been that long. I mean, the community just went up in beta, like soft launch at the end of April, and we almost have 5,000 people in there already.
Yeah.
And so, and that's just still working on all the foundational pieces, and really not charging up the databases that are available that we've been building for the last 5 years, since 2020. Where there's over 200,000 database just of people that are spiritual. So I am so excited to, bring these episodes, the shorts, and all of the other stuff that we're doing for people for free to these people, and get more folks into the community to help serve other people. I keep telling people, the more love you get, the more you get. The more, I'll go out, and people might think this is funny, but I'll give these emojis on people's posts, and I have an intention for each one of them. I have an intention: love, prayer, the blessing, then the dove for peace, lightning bolt for energy, fire for spirit. And I have an intention when I'm doing it. And even when I do prayers for people, I pray with the intention, and declare and decree it. And the more you do that for people, the better off you're going to be. And the more you're focused on doing that instead of doing something else that's not serving you, the better you're going to feel. Because when you do things for others, it makes you feel good. What's your say on that?
Yeah. So one thing that I love to do is give gifts. And I love to do that for people, whether I'm making them or whether I'm buying them. I love to give gifts. And the reason is because when you're giving something to someone, whether it's an emoji, whether it's a I love you, whether it's a piece of jewelry, whether it's a piece of cake, whatever it is, you're giving that to them. And as they feel excited about it, as it makes them feel happy, you get the same thing.
Yes.
And that's, we are mirroring each other. So why would you want to look in a mirror that is negativity? I really, to me, I don't understand that, but I wish everybody well. I love everyone unconditionally.
Yes.
But also you take care of your own energy, and you don't continue to interact with someone who is basically trying to tear your energy down. That's important. And I think that community is becoming like so beautiful. People are so kind and beautiful. And I think a lot of people are beginning to really understand what we're talking about and starting to feel the love from the universe. And we are all loved. We're all so loved right now. I mean, imagine you signed up to do this, and you're doing one of the most crazy jobs in the universe right now. And that is to ascend humanity and to help Earth ascend. That is a huge job, because guess what? It was like 300,000 years of not so great density that Earth was in. So we're overcoming all of that. And it's massive. So give yourself credit for that. It's important. And know how loved you are, and know that you have a huge team of beings that are there for you if you need them.
Oh, and you were talking the other day about how people need to ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask the guardian angels to help you. Ask the Christ to help you. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you. Ask the divine creator to help you. Ask it, but give thanks. Like, Hey, thank you for helping me. Give gratitude. I was telling some guy, he was, one of our members, and he was talking about in a past thing, circle of life, and he was talking about how terrible his life was. He was in shambles, and I said to him, I said, you just need to give great thanks instead of asking. Just give thanks for everything.
Mhm.
Bless all your stuff. Give thanks for everything. And in 12 months, his life turned around like just amazing. And it is because life and death is in the tongue, and you shall eat the fruit of it. Life and death is in the tongue, and you shall eat the fruit of it. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, never so than it's ever been. Right now is the time to make sure that you're speaking power into your life, you're stepping into your power, and you're being the kind of steward that you can be blessed with more stewardship, because it's not, eventually, I know nobody will need money. I already know that.
Yeah.
I feel that. But you still, by participating, will get more resources. Everybody will have the basic resources to have life and sustain life. And then they'll be able to actually, what should I be doing? What is my purpose? And they'll
Mhm.
actually be able to focus their time on that purpose. And that's going to be a beautiful thing. For those that are leading by overflow, they'll get more resources. They'll get access to more resources. They'll get access to more distribution of the resources. And one
Mhm.
of the things I love about what we're doing too in here, Sister Honey, is that we're actually putting together projects that are going to be for humanity. And we're, through the Ascension Mastery, for less than $1 a day, we're building guides. The Divine's building guides through that program, and we're going to have spiritual communities all over the world with multiple guides in those communities, and spiritual leadership, people that are expanding, living together in those communities. I am so
Mhm.
excited, even though I will be the first guide over in Las Terrenas with that community. I know you've got something over in Colorado, but I'm so excited about that, because when I started mentioning that, because I got that download a while ago,
Mhm.
and about this great separation and these communities and all of that.
Yeah.
The separation actually was the split of the timeline. It's so beautiful because now you're going to have a community full of these spiritually enlightened people that have stepped into their power. And imagine the anchoring, and then everything's self-sufficient, from energy to water to community gardens to imagine the growth of the plants. And then I've got devices that can sit in the middle of these communities that clean up all the air, all of the soil, all of that, and also is a negative ion machine. And if all you got to do is look at the positive impacts of negative ions on the planet and people, and it's tremendously positive. I mean, it really
Mhm.
can help accelerate ascension, because we got to get people to calm down from the anxiety. All these people are pumped into the TV set, they're pumped into the radio. They don't protect themselves with the band, the bodyline band. They don't protect themselves with the EMF protection disc. You're walking around, you got a 6-foot shield around you, protecting you from all that stuff. They don't do that. They don't get a salt lamp. They don't use crystals. They don't do candles. They need to do these things so that
Mhm.
they can protect, like you said, their energy grid. You got to be very conscious of your energy grid. People can suck your energy, or they can pollute your energy, correct?
Yeah, especially if you're unaware of your own energy. I mean, that's really important. I know for me, like I have the EMF protection on my cell phone, but the wrist thing is my favorite. So the codes that are coming out of this are really helping my body like be energized through the day, and I have to take it off before I go
Yeah.
to bed, like
Three
hours. So when
hours,
I'm
three
done for the
hours.
day,
Yeah.
I take it off and then eat dinner and then go through, whatever we're doing at night. But I think it's really important that we know that the communities that are being built, like people that are Jimmie and I's, like close to our age group, we're here for creating the community foundations.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of learning centers, and a lot of people in Ascension Mastery are planning similar things. and they're going to have input from each other. Maybe they might ask a question, from Brad or from me or from Jimmie or Tommy, like, what do you think about this? But I think a lot of us will travel around with each other and help each other with different things because we all have different resonance. So I have someone who's working with looking at the different pieces of land. I have someone, and these are part of my soul group, that are looking at how to create the structure, like the foundational structure, the systems like water and sewer and that kind of stuff. We have these big things that are going to be happening, and people that are willing to be in the highest timeline and let go of the most old junk are the ones that are going to be building these fifth dimensional places. And they all get this information from the field because that's what is being put out there from the divine. That's the next step, is for us to come back together in cooperation.
Yes.
And I grew up in the most dysfunctional community, as a hippie kid. And, and that explains my name, like Honey comes from hippie parents. But it's important that we go through those things. Yes. And I loved it as a little kid, but the older I got, the more I saw the dysfunction going on. And that's important. That was an important thing for me to learn, because I'll be able to help set up something that's functional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, I'm an architect, I'm a builder, and I've been building things my whole life. And so my grandfather was, he built train engines and trains and locomotives, built the machines that built them. It was just, I've been around that my entire life. And I'm so fired up about building these spiritual communities. And again, you've got to get people through, like, I look at things in a process production phase because of my mind. When I went out of the military, I got into manufacturing. And so I look at the fact that in order to get into one of these communities, you're going to have to go through the process. You can't come into a community and contaminate the energy. You've got to go through the process and step into your power and be expanding with overflow, so that these communities are anchoring the light like never seen before. On top of it, we're talking about built with all things good for the planet, maybe even hempcrete, all kinds of stuff with the right kind of frequency. Houses not built in squares, but built in domes, rounded, so the energy flows freely. Community gardens with copper, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I can't wait to see the fruit produced on these things. I can't wait to see the water and the purity of everything and the energy that's going to be coming off of these things, and then anchoring it with these devices that are putting out unbelievable amounts of negative ions. We're talking about one of these devices puts out like the energy of negative ions of like 200 and 300 Amazon force. I mean, it's crazy, the amount. And so being able to anchor these communities all over the planet and then put these devices where now the whole soil's getting cleaned up, the environment's getting cleaned up, that's happening. And then, you're cleaning up the water, you're cleaning up the ocean. It's such a beautiful time to be alive. I mean, it's such a beautiful time to be alive.
It really is. And the hierarchy is going away. So that's really important to remember. If you are creating a project, really think about how you want to structure it so that there is no hierarchy. Yes. And really, we're here to learn how to cooperate with each other. That was the original purpose of Earth. The original purpose was so that we could learn how to communicate between different soul groups and different species. And it was hijacked. So we're going to go back and we're going to fix it. And it's going to be beautiful. And there's going to be a lot of councils and, community councils. And if you're not doing your job, guess what? Bye. It won't be like, oh, we got to wait 4 years for somebody to take them out of there. It's immediate because everybody's going to be able to see the energy. And that's really important right now. It will be completely sovereign. And as we move through the generations or through the waves of volunteers, each wave, like the next wave is like 30s. They're in their 30s, some in their late 20s, some in their early 40s. And they're basically going to create these communities after we build the foundation for them. They're going to be the ones that live there. And we are going to be the ones that help them do that because that was our job. And then after that, the kids will come in and just like your grandson, and they will light up the world with their basically crystalline structure that they know how to use and all their knowledge that they're coming in with that isn't getting put behind a veil anymore.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is exciting. And, I look at Step Into Your Power, and we're going to go through that in a minute. And then I want to talk about Bodyline a little bit more. Make sure you get that band like Sister Honey and I have. Get that disc too, because you need it for EMF. This also helps protect against it. Well, you got it both. It's really important. But I look at stepintoyourpower.com, this community with all these portals in it, as that linking all these communities up together. Linking all these communities around the world together, so ideas are being shared, and we're working together. And I like the fact that we're keeping that within the Ascension Mastery, because we need everybody to, participate in sowing good seed for less than $1 a day to help build the free community, to keep that free for the ones that are coming in and they're not ready to live in a spiritual community, to be fighting with everybody. They're not ready to do any of that. But guess what? We've got a platform for them where the guides and the people that are in Ascension Mastery, that are involved in these communities, that are involved in these sacred projects, are there to help support them and on their journey. And then more of them will become into the Ascension Mastery and be able to be part of these, because they'll be ready. Because again, the last thing you want to do is bring a bunch of people that are not ready to be in a spiritual community, because that would not work. That would be the opposite of what we're doing here. And so I'm excited to start showing people more of what we're all getting downloaded on, how these communities are going to look, how they're going to work. And the one that I'm going to be, when I go back into Las Terrenas, I'll be talking to some builders. I'm going to probably start drawing up the plans in 2026 for the community. It is going to be a rounded, doming community building stuff. It's going to be freaking awesome. And I just am so fired up about what's going on. Let me show, and let's make sure that I do show, because I know sometimes I don't show. Let me grab a hold of that. Okay. And am I showing it yet? Okay, not yet. So now I'm going to add it to the stage. Can you see it now? Okay, so this is Step Into Your Power community. Of course, I like, because of my eyesight, I like to have it on the darker side. Not that I'm on the darker side, I'm on the side of the light, but I got a giant monitor in front of me. And when it's white, it's like a tanning bed. But in here, you go here and you can click on begin here, and you can go through this page, and you can learn everything you need to learn. And then you also have these 7-day guided affirmation meditations there. And I got something from the software provider that popped up. This is my admin here, so it looks a little bit different, but not much. You just don't see the admin parts that I have, anything that I have up here to like create or edit. But in here also, I want to show you something that we just put up. And there's so many things going on in here. I mean, people are joining. I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just beautiful what's going on. But I wrote an article, and this will turn into a page soon, about numbers. And not only what are you seeing, but when you're seeing it, what do you need to do about it? What's the affirmation? What is the practice portal tools that you can use? I mean, we've got more tools. There's over 30 tools in the practice portal, free. $0 for you and your family and your friends to
Mhm.
get yourself from that waking up stage through. But so this guide has everything in it. So we're dropping lots of beautiful information to help you. You know that even 666 look, this is what it means, really means.
Yeah.
People don't know that. People don't know that because they steal 555. We go all the way down into 111, into 2020, and there's more numbers. By the way, more numbers are getting out. I'm going to build this onto a page where it becomes a very important document for people to look at. But there's so much going on in here. Like I click on the feed, you can see, what the members are posting. You can love on that. You can go up here. You can go in here, you can say, you know what, I want to just see from the hosts, from the guides. Then you can go
Mhm.
just see there's Sister Honey Golden there with her beautiful stuff every day. She's dropping it. You see mine, what we're dropping. It is so exciting to see what's going on in there. I mean, the prayer circle, all of that, and that begin here page, you had a lot to do with that, Sister Honey. Making it simple, making
Mhm.
it simpler on one page because I had it as a bunch of spaces before. Now it's really easy. We've got people in here that are in their late baby boomer years and they're freaking participating. I
Yeah.
say again, where do you want to place your time? You want to place your time into learning something that's actually going to give you massive results for your time and upfront nothing but your time? I would
Mhm.
say so. I really would do it. And again, all you got to do is shoot over to stepinyourpower.com and get access to all of this for free. It's for
Yeah.
free. I mean, and that's what the divine wanted. He wanted us to build out a spiritual community with all these different portals in it, and that the free portals would give everybody everything that they needed to move from before waking up all the way into expanding and overflow to fill up Ascension Mastery with guides that could help us build these spiritual communities and not only build them, but be part of them around the world. And I feel there'll be thousands of these places. What do you
Yeah,
think?
there will be. I remember when I was first getting downloads about the communities, and I was going to be creating 8 communities. And I was pretty like, wow, that's a lot of stuff to be doing. And now it's down to basically 2. And I'm really excited about that. And one will be in a different country than the United States. And we're really expanding. And that's what Mastering Ascension is for. It's to learn more advanced tools that we need to create with.
Yes.
And these people have been doing their work. Like they're working on themselves. They're letting go of their subconscious programs. They want to create the new world. And if that's you, then it's a great place to be. And whatever you're doing, will have a chance to actually be put up in the website so that we can find each other. And we could say, hey,
We support each other.
yeah, this guy over here that's in Ascension Mastery, he's doing this whole project. And I want to go participate in that. I want to drop by. I want to take a class, whatever it is that they're doing, and just being really excited about sharing with each other because everybody has massive knowledge of certain things.
Everybody's got a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a piece of the puzzle. And what's great about it is, again, I look at things in a flow process or in, production when you had raw material come in at the front of the building and finished goods going out in the trucks to the stores. My mind works this way on,
Mhm.
and I think this is why the divine gave me this task. Jimmie, lay this out, and this is what I want, because I understood it from that process point.
Yeah.
And how many people do, bringing tens of millions of people into the free community, developing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of guides around the world, and having multiple guides in these communities with spiritually awakened people. Can you imagine what's going to happen with planet Earth, Mother Earth? I mean, it's going to anchor this ascension like no tomorrow. And I mean, it could take this into a higher than a 5-dimensional situation in the future.
Yeah, we can go higher and higher in the dimensions. We will be in the 5th density because that is physicality.
Right.
And that's where we're meant to be for a while as earthlings and as earth, human bodies and stuff. But we can go into higher dimensions all the time. We can keep growing that way. And dimensions are consciousness. Where is your consciousness? And I keep getting the hit to say thank you to the scouts. So that was the first people, those baby boomers that are in Step Into Your Power, that are on, our channels watching us, and that came here and paved the way for us to come in and made it easier for us to be here because they had shifted the energy enough that we could stand it. And basically now we have done that for the next wave. And then the wave after that has, they're coming in, and a lot of them are here and they know things. They're like 2 years old and they're saying, oh, well, that's a such and such bird. And their parents are like, what? You know how to do that? Yeah. So we're really expanding right now, you guys. And it's a beautiful thing as you look at it. And it is a spiral. Everything is a spiral. That's how time works. That's how ascension works. And that's so you can go back and look, oh, hey, do I need to get rid of this thing that maybe might be holding me back? Just like when you're getting ready to just manifest something amazing, you have to get rid of all the gunk that's in the way.
All the gunk. It's important. One of the first sacred projects we're working on is with the Bodyline Energy Wellness Company. And it's because I have, transparent, I always am, I'm part of that company. And I have my team and I have control over things that are important to have control over so that you can do what's right. What I love about it and why I got involved in it, because I had my brother die from prescription drugs from an overdose. My mother died from complications of prescription drugs from juvenile diabetes. So I had a lot of, personal, experience with that. I was told that I would be in a wheelchair with a morphine pump pumping in my spinal cord. That ain't the case. Yeah, this is not a cloud. It's Brother Jimmie's back end of his chair. But at the end of the day, what I love about it, and like you just said, this thing, everybody should get this. Everybody should get this, and the
really
disc
helps.
And then if you have any issues with sleep or pain, and by the way, we're working on something else for anxiety, which is all energy based, all frequency based. You're an energy being. So this works even better. And it's one of the things that I, as one of the owners of the company, I have dedicated that anything that's generated from this Step Into Your Power community, half of that comes to me as an owner of the company, I'm putting half of it back into bringing more people into the community and rewarding people within the community. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. And it's important. And it's not because it's not an excellent thing. It's because once you go over to bodyline.com/power, and that helps support the free community. Okay. And you read all these freaking reviews from doctors, from naturopathics, from spiritual people. I mean, there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of reviews. And I'm going to take it off again because I don't want anybody to, accuse Brother Jimmie. He likes to, push the body line stuff. Yeah, what you have to do, and we're going to teach people this. Another thing that's great about Ascension Mastery is every month we do a 90-minute training called Ascension Mastery Mastermind, Business for Service of Soul. And it's about being in something that is good for the people on the planet. If Step Into Your Power wasn't good for the people on the planet, and Bodyline wasn't good for the people on the planet, I wouldn't be doing it because I'm not in a situation where I need to do anything. You know what I mean? Because I'm stewarding enough that I'd never have to work again. But I believe in what I'm doing. And I know Sister Honey, she's got enough going on. She doesn't have to do this either. But we know what's going on here. And we know what our purpose is here. We know why we're here. Yeah. We're here for this, to build this community, to bring energy wellness technology, by the way, Tesla scalar technology, into the fold. Because what do we have to do? We have to rebuild this freaking crumbling healthcare system, don't we? It's a mess. My wife goes to the hospital for an hour and a half and they want to give us a $10,000 bill. Me, I don't see hospitals and I don't see doctors, but at the end of the day, 2/3 of this world uses energy medicine, and the United States and North America decided to go the old fashioned way. And that's part of our responsibility too, because the old fashioned way doesn't serve you.
No, and it was an overlay too. It was a takeover process, and that kind of medicine isn't going to go forward. It's going to start to crumble along with the government and along with the school system and all of those things, and the religious systems that are, the people in religion are usually awesome. It's the people at the top that are not so awesome. So really thinking about that, and why was it created in the first place?
Control.
Most for division. And
Division and
most people know that at this point. Like, they're seeing that, oh, well, maybe Johnny down the street who goes to a different church isn't such a bad guy. Those things are important to realize. We're not here for division. We're here for cooperation. And that doesn't mean compromise. That means what's going to work the best for the group when you're creating something. And we're learning. And this is part of our learning process as humanity goes and as the soul groups go, because guess what? We've been in polarity. So really what we're doing here in Step Into Your Power at the core is me, Jimmie, Brad, and Tommy are learning how to work together. And that's all going to spread down into the rest of the groups. And they're going to see how to do that with tools and how to communicate with each other and not trigger each other. So it's important, and we're practicing it. We're learning right now. So all of us are learning. We're all in it together.
Yeah, and if something I say triggers you, I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. You can give me love and blessings for that, and then you can figure out why I triggered you. Because when people trigger you, it's not about them, it's more about you than them. And you really got to look at why that is, because I used to get triggered like really quick. And again, I got to show this image before we end our episode 5. I know this is what a lot of you folks are feeling right now. But you got to weed your garden of life. You got to get the negativity, the crumbling out of your view, because when it's in your view, you're absorbing that energy and you're putting energy into it. Get it out of there. Come and walk with Sister Honey, Brother Brad, my son Tommy, and me, and lots of other beautiful folks, and step in your power and let us help you. If you need prayer, go in and do a prayer request. You'll see me in there. I've done a few of them for my wife, okay? A few of them. There's a lot of people in there using them. Use it. Use it. That's what it's for. We're here to love you. We're here to love on you. We're here to pray for you. Every single prayer you see I post back there, I pray it out with intention, with power, with energy. Everything you do, whether you say it or you write it, you're putting your energy into it. So be careful, because what Sister Honey said, it comes right back at you. It comes right back at you. You're going to get it. So closing words before we go. And
I think the closing word should be about intention in general. And we are energetic beings. I'm an energy healer. But when I'm healing, when I'm sending that out, I'm giving intention. So this entire thing that we've created is intentional. And everything that you're going to be doing and that you're probably doing now is intentional. So think about your intentions as you go forward and what you're doing, and have them be really good for you. Have them be in your highest good. Have them be in the highest good of everyone. And that will create something beautiful for you, something beautiful for your community, And if you're in Step Into Your Power, which we're welcoming you in, then that will create beauty for the people that are in that group. And really, togetherness is what's happening right now. And that is something that we've been missing for a long time. So you've had family that has peeled away, that has said, no, I don't want to talk to you because you don't believe the same thing I believe.
Mhm.
We don't all believe exactly the same things that other people believe. And guess what? It doesn't actually matter. Are they vibrating the same way that you're vibrating? Then you're going to feel really awesome around them. And that's what we've created this for, is so that we can start to come together in this virtual community as we get ready to create physical communities.
Beautifully put. Beautifully put. And all the links that we talked about are in the description of wherever you're watching this video. I just got to say, I love you all very much. I'm
Yes.
so freaking excited about this. And sister, you're just so wonderful. And I got to tell you, I'm excited. I mean, I am super excited. And I can't even believe this is our 5th episode, but it's exciting to do these every week. And I hope you all are getting enjoyment out of it. Make sure you subscribe, you comment, let us know what you think, let us know what you feel, and we're here for you.
Love you guys. Have a beautiful night.